This is a sulphur dun from Helen Shaw's book, Flies for Fish and Fishermen, which is a wonderful book of wet flies. The book is divided up into chapters regarding bodies. There's, for instance, a chapter on floss bodies, a chapter on wool bodies. And Helen Shaw, as opposed to many tyers, didn't always dub her wool. She many times would use wool just right off a skein of yarn. And that's what I've done here in order to give the fly some segmentation. This hook is a number 10 Daiichi 1550 standard wet fly sprout bend hook. The thread is Primrose, and it's Benecki in this case, 12-aught. For the tail, Helen Shaw specifies just some wisps of Hackle. And I had some hen hackle handy that was dyed the color I wanted, and used that, just a few of them, to give the wispy effect. And this is very much a fishing fly. Be very effective when the sulfurs are out. I would fish this high in the water column. It's a dun, so if you're fishing a team of wet flies, I might use it, what do they call it, the bob fly, the one on top, or the next one down. I've got 2 strands of some 4-strand Berlin wool that I'm using here. I think it'll give me a nice segmented effect. You could, if you want even more segmentation, you could twist these up together hard and use that to wind the body. I would imagine that would give you some pretty heavy segmentation. This works out fairly well. Don't try to use just a single strand of yarn unless it's pretty beefy yarn, because what'll happen is as you wind it, it'll separate out. Like one strand of this stuff just doesn't work. I know, I've tried it. And I don't necessarily want to keep these dead together. I'm not too worried if the 2 strands separate a little bit. I'm not concerned about it. It'll just enhance the segmented effect. Trap it a couple times here. Cut it off. This is hackle that I've prepped, and I normally don't do this. You see how the butts are cut short there? A lot of guys like to do it this way. I don't. It just makes, when you go to pull it down, as I'm doing here, and trim it, it makes it more difficult. So I don't recommend this. I did it here. I couldn't tell you why. I'm always trying different things. I never tie flies the same way twice, it seems, unless I'm doing, of course, a great number of flies for some commercial purpose. Then I'll get a single method and stick to it and try to get them all identical. I'm using the hackle pliers here because this hackle's fairly short. And this is just some kind of standard hen hackle. It's not anything amazing. It was some white stuff that I dyed yellow. Everything on this fly is supposed to be sulfur, and I don't know what that is. I see light sulfurs, light colored. I see orangish ones. So I just went with what I had. A little bit darker yellow than a very light yellow. Helen Shaw's wings. First of all, Helen Shaw's flies are fairly sparse. 4 turns hackle max. I probably should have gone with a little bit less, maybe one fewer turn. And her wings are low and not very wide. And I had trouble keeping this wing low enough. I probably got a little too much thorax, but I like a thorax on my wet flies. And this wing set here is not going to cut it. It's a little too much on my side. It's an issue I have. And the wing was a little long as well, so I'm just backing off a little bit and trying again, trying to get it a little more on the other side. So I want it embracing the body, and it does there, so that's okay. But you'll see what happens to this wing. As I bind these butts down, the wing tends to cock up a little bit. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have had a bit lower wing, but I just couldn't quite achieve it here. It's not bad. Fly would certainly fish. There's a little something sticking out there. I'll get it with tweezers. Don't even know what that was. Quick whip finish. And we're done. Cut it off with the thread under tension. Here's the finished fly. Just did 1 coat of head cement on this. It's a fishing fly. Don't have to go crazy making the head perfect. I hope you enjoy doing this one. And fishing it for that matter. Have fun.